The Auburn Tigers finds another way to lose, falling to 0-4, winless in SEC play, yet for the third straight season under Hugh Freeze.
This is the Weekend Tailgate, brought to you by Golden's Cast Iron. C-Dub, I Joe, Be Will, by G.
This edition of the
Go ahead, Ike. You muted.
What's up, y'all? We are here, Weekend Tailgate, brought to you by the good folks at Golden's Cast Iron. Whether you work out, grill out, or chill out, we got something for you here at Golden's Cast Iron. Make sure you head over there, use code Get Your Weight Up, 15% off of the weights, $65 off of Fire Pits and Kamado grills using code TWR. If you are out here and you want to be a part of, I don't actually know why you would want to be a part of Green Name Gang at this point in time, other than the love of your boys over here at the War Rapport.
Basketball season
is upon us, and I got Green Name Gang content that I'm gonna be cranking out for basketball. But we are going to be doing Watch the Film once again for this game. We're going to watch it, as painful as it's going to be. There's going to be some good things to point out here. Here's the thing. There are players who made great plays, and you want to see those players, and hopefully those players will continue to want to be Auburn Tigers as this season and the years progress. If you are Green Name Gang and you want to gift a membership, somebody else can get one for free month of membership when you gift that out to them. Make sure you tap in with the rest of the folks on the network over here. That is the Uptempo podcast. They had a spirited conversation over there today about this whole thing. College Loop is going to get their jollies off tonight about it. You can tap in with us at the Gaming Pod because Dustin's doing great work over there. Maybe you can watch him utilize Auburn to actually score points virtually in the realm of video games. That'll be really fun. If this has driven you to the point of needing some aid, head over to the folks at Rogue Shop. Go to rogueshop.com and use code RAPPORT, 15% off at America's #1 online dispensary. That is the Rogue Shop. And maybe you want to support us with some War Rapport merch. I know it's Auburn colors, but it don't say Auburn nowhere on any of this stuff. This is still War Rapport merch, man. Support your boys because we're still out here doing the Lord's work, which is supporting all of the athletes. Listen, regimes change. The War Rapport remains the same, supporting the Auburn athletes across the many sports in which Auburn has people playing. And the War Rapport got you right there. Make sure you tap in with those. Let's get into the show, man. We ain't going to prolong the conversation too much.
Ike, you were here post-game. We got a lot of our thoughts off. I didn't know if you had any more thoughts about what you saw last night and just the culmination of where we are. Mike G is also joining us. Guys, the stats are all on social media. I mean, it's not a foregone conclusion. Hugh Freeze is 14-18, I believe, in his third season at Auburn, 1-12 against ranked opponents, and now has a losing record in Jordan-Hare Stadium. Just kind of where we are today. Like we normally come in here and talk about the game, which we will, but I think this has a lot to do about just kind of where we are in year 3 under this current coaching staff.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they are in a position that is not enviable if you are John Cohen in this administration. You hired a guy that was very popular with the people who cut checks. You hired a guy who, on the surface and on the by every metric, listen, including people like myself who thought, oh, this is a good fit for Auburn.
I was one of those people too.
You hired a guy who is tremendous in recruiting. Yeah. You hired a guy that was tremendous in recruiting, and he came out with great recruiting stuff that you thought you were going to get someone who was going to turn the program around. And in terms of talent, He absolutely has done that, right? And I need to stop talking in past tense because he is still Auburn's coach at this point in time. He has done that to this point. But the problem is, in the year in which you were supposed to see the change in the trajectory on the field, it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened, and you have been painfully, what's the word I want to use? I don't know. It's just been painful to watch the way in which this team has not been able to close the deal in 4 straight contests in which you absolutely had the opportunity to do so. And last night was just another in a long list of, man, you found a different way to do this, huh? To snatch the L. It's like you were right there and you was like, man, let me go and take this L real quick though instead. And that hurts. That hurts a fan base that has been very patient, that has been very supportive. And I hope, again, that fans continue to support the players and make it clear that whatever you're doing as a form of non-support is about the fact that you don't like what's happening with the coach. Because the players don't deserve that. They didn't ask for this. They asked to come to Auburn and they want to win, and they are laying it out there on the line, particularly that defensive side of the ball, man. Those guys are really out there playing ball, and they deserve the support that the fans can give them. But it's tough, man. It's really tough.
Yeah, Mike, I mean, against Georgia, you saw an Auburn offense disappear in the second half. At Texas A&M, you saw an Auburn offense that didn't show up, period, right? And it seemed as though at some point last night, Auburn's offense did show up in the second half because they had 2 consecutive successful drives that culminated in 10 points. But it seemed as though when you needed some offense the most, which is in overtime, you're not going to win a game if you don't score. Auburn couldn't even muster up a first down. Auburn basically went 3 and out both overtimes and came away with 0 points. And it just seems as though this coaching staff, just when you need to put something together, they can't seem to get it done. And it's the same thing we've been hearing week after week after an Auburn loss. Your thoughts as you've thought more about this?
Ike and I talked about this last night, and it's exactly what you said. The problem with this team is that when you need them in the critical moments, offensively, they just don't show up. They can't execute. They don't do anything right. In the critical moments, you don't have to be the highest scoring team in the history of college football to be good. We've seen some teams that are good defensively but solid offensively, and they win close games. In the 2 undefeated runs we've seen from Auburn this century, they've had some really close, low-scoring games where they score a bunch of points. But the mark, the signature of those teams was when they needed a play, when it was 4th and 12 against LSU, and they had to have a play to win a game 10-9 in a season where they won every game. Courtney Taylor and Jason Campbell came up with a play. They absolutely came up with a play. I take you back to 2010 against Mississippi State. Low-scoring game, man. Low-scoring game. And Cam did throw a ball a bunch in that game. But when they needed plays, he made a play. 2013 even, they lost a game that season, but they won some tight contests. Obviously, they had some very miraculous close plays until they couldn't make them anymore in that national title game. But to make the run, you have to show up in crunch time. This team doesn't show up in crunch time, man. When the big play is there, Cam Coleman, for as talented as he is, he dropped an absolute dime from Jackson Arnold yesterday. And they're not good enough to give up those plays and win games. How am I bagging on Cam? I think he's the best receiver to come through Auburn in a very, very long time. if ever. The problem lies with something deeper with this team, either with how they prepare, how they're being coached. I have a hard time believing that their process and practice is not what's leading to these results on the field on Saturday. I lay that at the feet of this coaching staff, which is why we keep asking every week, what changes are you going to make? Because if you're not going to get rid of no coaches and you're not going to at least switch personnel. Perry looked good out there yesterday, man. In my head, I'm just like, why wasn't he ready faster, man?
Right.
He won his job because of injury. I have a hard time believing he couldn't have been doing this the whole time. What are they doing? Every decision that they make should be called into question. And after Saturday, what I fear is even if Hugh Freeze remains coach, he has lost the right to control his team. Because the people who write the checks here have proven that they will stick their nose dead smack in the middle of what you're doing and tell you what to do or else. That hasn't worked out too well for Auburn. So I don't want to see that. I want to see him fix it. If you're frustrated by what you saw yesterday, I feel your frustration. There were a number of things, man. I feel like this staff should have had the good discernment to know not to put Alex McPherson back out there for 2 more kicks. The first one looked terrible. But and you know, he said in the post game, well, Alex had been making them from 50. The first one didn't look right, man.
Right.
I was down on the field for one of them, and I was like, whoa. 3 times they did that. Any one of those field goals would have won you the game.
For how McPherson normally kicks the ball, yeah, I give you that, Mike. The first kick should have told you everything you needed to know about what he had in the tank that night. He didn't have it.
Not to say that the others would have.
Yeah.
But these are the judgment call, the discernment decisions that I'm concerned aren't getting made. I would love to know if somebody on his staff was in his ear saying, Coach, we got to put in another kicker. Because I don't even know if that should be Hugh Freeze's call during the game. I think the special teams guy should come through and say, oh, nope. Coach him every day. I see him kick. That don't look like the 50s he was making in practice.
So I don't mean to interrupt you, but this is exactly where my problem lies, honestly. One of 2 things is clearly happening here. Either Coach Hugh Freeze is micromanaging everything that's going on with this team that's not on defense, or nobody is competent that is not named Hugh Freeze in what they're supposed to be doing. And and this is why you have never heard me get on here since Gus Malzahn, because we had 8 years of that, and that was a very different scenario. You've never heard me get on here and say a coach should be fired in year 1, year 2, year 3 of their tenure at Auburn. But something's got to change. The offensive line is not getting better in these scenarios. The quarterback is not improving. You are not seeing development from the wide receiver position, and special teams has been bad every single year. All of that, unfortunately for Coach Hugh Freeze, points to a disorganization in the way in which he administrates his offensive and special team staff. Everything that's not in his hands never seems to improve.
Yeah.
He's the only thing that he has done right since he has been at Auburn is hire competent defensive coordinators. That's it. Well, outside of recruiting, but I'm talking about as far as on the field product. The only thing he has done right is hire competent defensive coordinators. That's not a good look, bro. Like, and you are loyal. I love the loyalty that Coach Hugh Freeze shows to people, because he, like, if we're being, he didn't really like Philip Montgomery. I think is the only person he showed no loyalty to because he didn't really know him before he got here.
Right.
Cadillac, you could argue he didn't really show loyalty to him. He didn't really have But if it's his boy, if he been riding with him for a minute, oh, he gonna go down in flames with that person because none of these dudes seem to have their rooms in order, and all of them still have the same responsibility. You have to start either taking responsibility away from them or saying you can't have this job, and it ain't going right, man.
Yeah. So again, week after week, right, when we're in these press conferences trying to get an answer from him about what's going to be different. What is going to be different? Are you going to coach it right? Like, Jason Caldwell asked a question last night about personnel, and I tried to follow it up to press him a little bit. Like, you're not going to try another quarterback? Because here's what, even though, again, I said this last night, even though I don't think Jackson Arnold is the problem, he is a part of the problem, but I don't think he's the problem.
Right.
If you need a spark, Jackson is not playing so well that the things that he's doing could not be replicated by another quarterback on this roster. And maybe that guy will make the throw you need or let go of the ball in crunch time when you need it to give you a chance to win. Every single final drive, Jackson is taking a sack, man. It's situations where you absolutely cannot take a sack. He is creating negative plays in crunch time. So for as talented as he is, right now, you are desperate for a win. And you have not done it with him one time in conference play. You are now 3-4. You have a losing record at the 7-game mark. We said, but coming into this game, this was mission effing critical, man. You had to get this win. Now, if they're not cooking up his walking papers as we speak, they will absolutely be getting them ready for after Arkansas or Kentucky if you lose those games. You are finished. There is absolutely no way John Cohen can have any credibility and let a coach in his third year start 0-5 in SEC play or 1-5 and keep their job at Auburn University.
Yeah. But I'm like, even if you beat Arkansas, what is that? What do you learn? What do you learn about this team?
Well, here's the thing. The thing is, the floor for this team was always supposed to be 8-5 this season. And that's still attainable. But now you got to win out to get there. We've seen teams do it. And so I'm not going to bury him completely until every single one of those goals is off the board. We lost the playoffs a couple weeks ago. But we said, I said, you still got 9-5. 9-3, I'm sorry. Now that's off the board. You have 8-4 and an Iron Bowl win still on the table. I'm telling you, shades of Tommy Tuberville 2003, that will be enough to save his job for one more year. With an extreme hot seat headed into year 4. But boy, will we be on his ass all off season. Because I don't know how much more support you can get. I asked him, I said, what else do you need? What would you say you need else to do this job? He said, well, the NIL support's been great and the fans have been great. Yes. Thank you for saying that part out loud. The answer is nothing. You have been given everything. And you got to get it done or you got to go. As we were watching that game through the first quarter and a half, I was like, finally, we're going to get to go to this postgame in conference play and ask this coach about a win. The game felt so winnable the whole time. Just
It
as
was.
the
It
three
was
previous
winnable.
did.
It was winnable.
If
This
you're,
one felt more winnable than any of the other games, and that's
Yeah.
saying a lot because of how winnable they were.
yeah, if you're Missouri, if you're a Missouri fan, you're watching this. Good, congratulations on having a better coach.
Congratulations.
Because I'm not sure that overall they got better players. As a matter of fact, I know they don't. Auburn should have won that game by multiple scores. 9
That's not even a crazy statement. They had multiple scores in their hands and it literally dropped and or crapped them away. Yes.
9 points left on the table just from field goals. The Cam Coleman drop would have been a score. He catches that in his stride.
Inside the 1 yard line, a touchdown rather than kicking a field goal.
Yeah.
So yes,
kept it a one possession game right there.
They should have won that game by multiple scores. They were the more talented team, but their coach is not putting them in better positions. Jeremiah Cobb had himself a day. Cam Coleman had his first 100-yard day. Perry Thompson was the perfect complement to Cam Coleman in this game. He was the steady, I'll go over the middle and get it receiver. While Cam was the deep threat they couldn't stop. God, you cannot stop him from getting open downfield unless you're interfering with them, which they had to do, and they didn't call it. But that was potentially a touchdown if he's not interfered with. Come on, man. This is too much talent. This is way too much talent. So, look, I mean, there's nothing we can hear from Hugh Freeze at this point. I don't even know if I want to go. I'm gonna go. But like, in my head, I'm just like, I don't even know if I want to go to another press conference. To hear what? He's got to fix something within himself. Because at this point, I'm not sure that he doesn't want it more. And he came to the presser for Georgia. He sat down, and I was like, I'm not feeling the vibe, coach. Not feeling the vibe. I'm not sure you're feeling what Auburn fans are feeling today as you sit here on another Monday in the lead up to a team that we have not beat in like 8 years. That just so happens to be one of our two main rivals. Auburn fans are sick of losing to Georgia. You've been given the talent and the resources to go out and do that. The fact that we haven't done it yet is crazy. So now you got Arkansas, who fired Sam Pittman. Kentucky, who is the worst team in the league right now. Vanderbilt, who, God, I hate to say it, but boy, they look like every bit of a top 10 team. Mercer and Alabama. If they follow the trend of losing to ranked teams in conference, fellas, there are 3 wins left on the schedule, which makes Auburn 6-6. If Auburn cannot beat another ranked team, one of them's on the road, 6-6 is where they'll end up.
Well, he did say he expects us to be bowl eligible this year.
Yikes, man. Auburn will be 1 game better than last year. Anyone tell me that's not coaching malpractice? 1 game better. 1. Only the 1. Boy, that Baylor game seems like it was light years ago. I watched them get waxed up yesterday, and I was just like, oh, my goodness. I don't even know if there's a quality win. Like, you've only got 3 of them. 0-4 in the conference, bro. We're setting all the wrong records, man. Fix the process. Again, he said it. I don't know if it was a Freudian slip. We got to get in here on Monday and get it fixed. No, coach, not Monday. What is he doing today, right now, as we're recording this? If he's not sitting down, watching film, meeting with his coaches, getting in everybody's ass that messed something up on Saturday, I don't know what he's doing. He better not be on a golf course. But John Cohen being missing from these last few press conferences, I'm telling you, is not nothing. That is about a shift that is happening. I seen him after the Texas A&M and the Oklahoma games. He was right there with you in the Monday presser, sitting in the corner. I know, because I go over and talk to him every single time. Hey, John, how's it going? But always talk ball. I just make sure, he knows, he sees me, he knows I'm there. And he's been missing in the middle of a crisis. So I got to believe that what he's doing in absence is he's planning. He's planning for the future of Auburn football because, I know that he wants to be given the opportunity to make this right with the next hire. I know he does, Caesar. So it's unfortunate that we're at where we're at right now. This is just not the conversation we wanted to have. And if it sounds repetitive to our listeners, I'm sorry. I don't know what else to talk about at this point, right? I wanted to talk about something more positive.
Yeah, but I mean, we can only respond to what we're seeing.
Yeah,
this whole season, like what's happening has been repetitive for 4 to 5 weeks now. It's been the same script, and for whatever reason, Auburn can't seem to get out of its way, at least offensively. And Mike, I feel Keldrick Falk had a game yesterday, man. Those DBs had a game yesterday. It's a shame those guys can't celebrate a dub because of how well they played defensively. But it's been the same thing week after week. And again, it's something you've pointed out. When you look at, from a practice standpoint, how organized the defensive side of the ball is, it plays out on game day. Defense seems to know what they're doing.
Caesar, I don't know if you saw this, but it looks like Florida just fired Billy Napier.
They're talking about it in the comments. They're
Yeah.
talking about it in the comments. I got it pulled up right here. So yeah. So that's another domino that has fallen in terms of coaching carousel. Will Auburn join them? Because at this point, Mike, I hear you. Auburn's goals of going 8-4 are still there. You're better than me. I don't think they're going to get it done, because to me, they haven't shown with the game the opportunity to take advantage of games. Auburn's not doing it. And I think that's where the apathy from the fan base is coming in, and the frustration with the fan base. People done with Hugh Freeze because his teams have not done it. And I have a hard time believing that with his back against the wall, he's going to get it done starting this week against Arkansas. It'd be great. But I have a hard time believing that. Before we get to the break, Ike, do you have any thoughts, man? Are you good?
I think we had nothing else new to say.
Word. Well, listen, guys, we're going to get, because you guys got a lot to say. So we're going to definitely get to the break. We're going to check out some of your comments, starting with the supers, and we will go from there. But first, a word from our sponsors.
This edition of the War Report is brought to you by our generous sponsors. Golden's Cast Iron. Whether you work out, grill out, or chill out, You deserve the best life possible, and Golden's Cast Iron is here to provide the tools to help you do it. Check them out at goldenscastiron.com.
The Rage Room. The Rage Room is a place where anger and stress find their ultimate release. Set up a session today at one of the 2 great locations in Opelika or Birmingham by visiting opelikarageroom.com or birminghamrageroom.com.
GoldensCastIron.com. We want to thank them for sponsoring this segment. Visit them at GoldensCastIron.com/WR. Use code Get Your Weight Up for 15% off your weights and code TWR for $65 off fire pits and Kamado grills. Golden's Cast Iron workout grill out. Chill out with Golden's Cast Iron. Want to thank our friends at the Rogue Shop. Visit rogueshop.com. Use code REPORT to get 15% off your Rogue Shop order. Pain, sleep, stress, anxiety, whatever else in your life, the Rogue Shop has something that has you covered. Our guy, Richard, a longtime sponsor of the show. If you have some traditional ailments and you're looking for some non-traditional remedies, the Rogue Shop could be the place for you. Saturday could have just flared something up for you, and if it did, then the Rogue Shop maybe has a unique solution for you. We appreciate them for sponsoring this segment, so please go check them out. We appreciate them for sponsoring this segment. Want to thank our friends at setsforsociety.ai. The road to knowing self better starts at Sets for Society. They have custom personality assessments that let you know a little bit more about how you think, how those around you think, and how you guys can think best together to achieve like goals. Setsforsociety.ai. Visit them today to get your custom personality assessment started. Just fill out the form. They do the rest. Big shout to Sets for Society for sponsoring this segment. Want to thank our friends at AIMA, that's Abel's, Iannone, Moore and Associates. Just starting out in your career, it might feel like investing is something you'll think about later, but the truth is the earlier you start, the more time your money has to grow. Abel's, Iannone, Moore and Associates helps young professionals build disciplined portfolios from day one. They'll help you understand how to invest strategically, avoid common pitfalls, and create a foundation for long-term financial growth. No minimum account required, no sales pitches, and no gimmicks, just clear guidance from a team with over 20 years of experience helping clients across the country. Call AIMA at 912-777-4128 or visit AIMAINC.com to get started on a path toward financial security and freedom. The War Rapport has been compensated by Abel's, Iannone, Moore and Associates for this endorsement. AIMA is a registered investment advisor. Registration as an investment advisor does not imply a certain level of skill or training. Information in this advertisement is for informational purposes only and should not be considered personalized investment advice. All investing involves risk, including potential loss of principal, and past performance is not indicative of future results. Guys, do us a favor. Join as a member. $5.99 a month will get you there. The game day chats, the super chats, the film reviews, all for you, the patron. Plus, Ike has been on the road every single away game this season, covering for you guys live. Help us keep them out there on the road by signing up as a patron. $5.99 a month, $3.99 if you just want a supporter level. We appreciate all our paid subscribers for helping keeping us financially viable. We appreciate that. Also, check us out on podcasts, all the podcast platforms. We are there. The Auburn Express, Uptempo, College Loop, Just a Sec, and the War Rapport Gaming Channel. Lots of great audio-only content that you don't want to miss. Please go check us out on audio. We appreciate you guys for helping us grow there. We've been climbing the podcast charts. We want to continue to do that. We can only do that with your help. So we appreciate you guys for helping us out over there.
As promised, we'll get to some of the comments, starting with the super chats. Darius Lee says 1-12 versus ranked teams. How is he still here?
You can't lose them all. Like, you can't lose them all. That's it. If he had split some of these, right, you were 4 games in. If he had gone 2-2, we'd be having a different conversation right now. Yeah. Auburn would be what? 5-3? I mean, you can't lose them all.
Yeah.
You got to win some of them.
Yeah. Cleveland Brown says, what does accountability look like now, Mike G?
You're running out of options, right? Like, I mean, the problems are too widespread, and it's too many different things. It's every single game for it not for it not to be the head. So, I mean, if he wanted to believe that his staff is the guy, like, he kind of said in the post game that he feels like this staff was called by God to do this, to be here, to be the ones leading Auburn through this time of adversity. You look like you just smelled a fart, and Ike looks like somebody literally shot him in the stomach. That's what he said. He referenced, he invoked the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ in this conversation, and said that he feels like that they're called.
All right, I'm out, bro. I'm out.
I'm finna go sacrifice a goat and apologize to God on behalf of Hugh Freeze for this, because
I'm out, bro. That was that. I hadn't listened to it. I'm out, bro. Nah,
I didn't listen to it either.
We're not doing that, bro. I'm out. Okay. We're not doing that.
All right, that's what it took to get Ike there. At the time,
welcome, Ike. Welcome.
Welcome on in to the Hugh Freeze Fire Express.
The Kool-Aid right over there, brother. It's a cold glass poured for you. We've been expecting you, my friend.
We kept the ice cubes cold in the drink.
Oh yeah, man. Drink sweating. Waiting on you.
Aunt Patty brought the potato salad. Yeah, I'm telling you, you're running out of ways. Like, I mean, essentially, honestly, I don't know, man. There's a part of me that felt like when he called me on Monday to clarify the Damari thing, I was like, "You're cooked, bro. You're cooked. You're done. You're done. That's it for you. No more, Hugh. No more." Because a coach who's been coaching as long as he has said to me that legal gave me that statement. And, I didn't mean to impugn his character. I can appreciate him wanting to clarify. I thought it was the right thing to do. However, there were some things in there than what he was saying that were disturbing. I was like, I don't know, man. I just feel like you got to be better than this. Ike said something to me earlier this week that I don't know if I can repeat it on air about Hugh, but like, I just think he's right.
Don't care.
I just think he's right. I just think
get through the comments. Bro. I'm out, bro. Go ahead. Get through the comments. I'm gonna say what I gotta say. Get through the comments, man.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I thought it was pertinent, and I was just like, he said it, and it hit me like that first, like, you at the bar, you take your shots, and that when the first one don't always hit you, but then that one hits, and you're like, oh, ooh, I feel that. That's how what he said hit me, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you might be right. It hit me like an epiphany, and I was like, all right, cool.
Exclusive TV says Mike G, time for that almighty rant, my guy. I think Ike got you with that one today. We'll wait to see what Ike has to say.
I mean, look, you'll get it. This week based on a few things. I mean, we've obviously got a press conference tomorrow. We'll see if he makes it to press conference. I don't know if you saw, but Florida fired Billy Napier. So they finally said enough. Did they win yesterday?
Yeah, but I mean, it was Mississippi State was like,
no, Mississippi State lost. Florida,
Mississippi State. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, like, look, that what that tells you is that the decision to fire him had been made well before that game, and they were preparing transition documents. If you can win and get fired after the win, I just think that they had already decided to fire him, no matter what the results of that game was. And I'm sitting here wondering why there was not. I mean, listen, the day is not over. There still could be. In which case, I think we'll be prepared to go live immediately, right, fellas? If that happens.
Yeah.
It's got to be. If you're Hugh Freeze, you're somewhere sweating right now. You have to be. If you really want to coach, if you invoke the name of Jesus Christ and saying, I think I've been called to do this, you are somewhere sweating right now, asking God to please let me fulfill my destiny as a man and as a husband and a father and a coach. Got to win them all.
Anthony Long says, after watching the play calling and overtimes, you can't convince me that Hugh isn't coaching for his buyout. I'm convinced that Hugh never planned on staying here past 3 years.
Yeah, I don't buy the self-sabotage thing. I just think what hopefully Ike will share with us here in a few minutes is it may be true, right? Like, I'm buying self-sabotage. I think that he wanted to do well here, but he wanted to do well here doing it the way he wanted to do it. And that's clearly not working, fellas. And so here we are. But he is very unwilling to pivot.
Tyler Williams says teams take on the personality of the head coach. When faced with adversity, Hugh Freeze pouts and hangs his head. His offense responds similarly. No mental fortitude.
Yeah, I don't know, Tyler, if I agree with this. I don't know if he pouts and hangs his head. I think that he's fired. He's fired up. You see him fired up at times. I mean, there was a point during the game where like something happened and Hugh Freeze it looked like he was about to jump out the stadium.
That's when Missouri missed that kick.
Yeah. Like, I mean, he missed the kick and Hugh was just, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know that he's pouting. I wouldn't characterize him as a pouter. I think it's just not working, man. I think he's chosen a path to trying to fix this. And, it was this press conference was the first time where he gave us the "it's close" line. And I really felt like not even he believed it. The previous weeks, I think he was buying that, guys. This week, I don't know if he believed it. He just because you know why? Because in his head, he's got to be thinking, why should anybody believe it? I know I keep saying it, but we're close. It was so close. Yes, you were close to winning the game, but I would not look at the offensive I don't want to be a stat box watcher, right? I think stats tell a story. I don't think they tell the whole story all the time, right? Because you have to put context around the stats. But the fact of the matter is Jackson Arnold went 18 for 30 in this game. That is a 60% completion percentage, which is absolutely not going to get it done. You know why? Because he didn't add anything significantly in this game with his legs. This was the first game where I think he wasn't in conference play where he did not have the most carries. 17, but just missed it, man. Jeremiah Cobb had 19 carries in this game. He probably should have had about 2 less that they handed the ball off onto him on plays that were absolutely not going to work. And then, but Jackson Arnold rushed 17 times for 14 yards. I don't know, man. Omar Mapson had 1 carry for 1 yard, and it was for a touchdown. Justin Jones came in. He had 1 carry for 1 yard. Malcolm Simmons had 2 carries for 24 yards. Good on Jeremiah, man, averaging 5.8 yards per carry. And this was the best. I think statistically, Missouri was the best defense in the league coming into this game in yards per game. And we're giving up a lot, passing or running. So it's when you look at how these things are going down, I'm just like, I just think Auburn, man, you had a 100-yard receiver, a 100-yard rusher. Your quarterback was 60% for 207 yards, which is not great, but whatever.
You won a turnover battle.
Yeah. Now, in fairness, if Cam catches that ball, Jackson Arnold probably has close to 300 yards passing in this game, because if he houses that one, or like Ike said, gets tackled at the 1, at least the yardage totals look a little better. But I think the overlying issue is the completion percentage. 60%, man, is just disappointing. Now, you see guys, there are so many dynamic and talented pass catchers in college football today that 60% just doesn't get it done anymore. If you're not in the mid to high 60s, you are not moving the needle. They threw the ball 30 times. They rushed it 41 times. I think that's about the run-pass ratio you want. The critical plays just not getting executed. I don't get it. I don't understand. How penalized was Auburn in this game? Oh, that can't be right. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. 4 penalties for 40 yards is not a ton.
It's one of their better games in terms of penalties.
Yeah, you only had 1 turnover. They had 2, so you won there. Lost time of possession by 5 minutes, though. I wonder if that is more of an overtime thing. No. This is only the time of regulation.
It was really bad at the half, though, Mike.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because of 3 straight drives,
Auburn had that first drive, and then they did nothing until that last drive of the half.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Which should have ended in a touchdown.
Yeah.
Which should have ended in a touchdown. So, yeah, I guys, I don't know, man. I don't know if Hugh Freeze is a powder. I think he's stubborn as shit, man, and he's got to find something tangible that he can change that will change the result for Auburn. It's got to be.
Darius Lee, this team would drop the tip pass versus UGA in 2013 and muff the kick 6 for a safety to lose the Iron Bowl. No clutch in them.
It's wild how the little things that we overlook every single week show up, right, when you are a team that can't get details right. One week it was Malcolm just having the worst week on special teams we've seen from him, fielding the ball deep and, letting it go when he should have caught it and catching it when he should have let it go. All those things pile up over the course of a game, and they cost you football games. So, I don't know, man. Like Auburn has had some really special offensive teams. In 2010, they had both low-scoring and high-scoring games, but I'm telling you, there was an inevitability to that offense where you remember watching that season. It always felt like when it was on the line, they were going to make some play. I want to take you back to Clemson that year. Clemson looked like they were rolling, and then Cam drops back for a pass, double clutches, gets hit, and then just bombs one out to Terrell Zachary. He catches it, tiptoes the sideline, and then bam. I remember this. My phone was being flooded by text messages. They were like, this was, people were starting to believe that Cam Newton was real at this point. And where is that feeling with the level of players that Auburn has? I don't know, man. I wanted to. It's hard to believe that they were suddenly going to break that tendency of folding at the end of games.
It's the opposite feeling right now, Mike. Is again when Missouri tied it up, I was like, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Now Auburn has to score.
Yeah, right. Like, here's what I would say. I mean, I still feel like he could have handled it differently, but I think there's more significance to Damari Alston deciding to redshirt himself than maybe we're giving credit for. He's on the inside of this thing every day, so he sees the daily process of what's leading to these results every week. And he said, you know what? I have a limited time to make an impact on college football. I'm going to pull myself out of this. I'm making a business decision. I'm going to pull myself out of this. And I wish my brothers well, but I got to do what's best for me at this point because I don't trust these coaches to do that. And that's what I think nobody's hearing. He stopped trusting his coaching staff, which is why he took his destiny into his own hands and said, I'm out. I'm gonna waste another year of eligibility here because I've trusted you to this point. I think that's important context to put around the Damari Alston situation that encompasses like that tells us what's happening offensively. I would not be shocked if he's not the only one that has lost faith and trust in the offensive coaching staff.
He was one of the few people who could do something about it, Mike.
Yeah.
JD Wardam Eagle just became a member. Thank you for joining up. And he also has a super here. He says, I'd rather lose with, I'm assuming DJ Durkin here, the defensive coordinator, as head coach than with Freeze. Thank you, man, for your hard work in these hard times. God bless. Thank you, sir, for your comment, and welcome.
Welcome.
I hear you. There's DJ Durkin has been one of the more popular coaches on this coaching staff as things have gone south for Auburn. Wes Cook here says, if the same group of geniuses who hired Freeze and Harsin are the ones making the new hire, whenever it happens, we are in trouble. Well, not exactly, but
yeah. I mean, look. I mean, if it's the same group that's been doing it for the last 25 years, look. I mean, they got at least one national championship out of their hires, and they got to another national championship out of the other hires, and they got an undefeated season out of the one before that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, every Auburn coach up until Brian Harsin had an undefeated season or national championship appearance.
Really and truly, the biggest dud here is Hugh Freeze, because Harsin hire was a result of a power struggle at the time.
Yeah.
Harsin got here over a power struggle that the AD won. Right? So I wouldn't say it's the same people. Yeah, it's not the same people who hired Freeze and Harsin in this regard.
Okay, listen, that's fair, right? Like,
yeah,
Alan Green hired Harsin, and so he has to wear that.
And you saw what happened to him.
Yeah, but he was told. I mean, they were so against it that he was told, if this doesn't work out, you're out. And they followed through on both those promises.
Yeah.
So here we are.
Yeah. Let's see here. Thanks for your comment, though, Wes. Appreciate you, buddy. Doo-doo bird says Hugh Freeze looks like those alcoholics that try to show up to work like they not drunk every day. His hands shake like one.
Nah, I don't know. I'm not sure Coach Freeze drinks. I don't think he drinks. But like, look, he's. But being the head coach of a college football team will take.
Then he comes back and says, "Look at Hugh Freeze's eyes, face, decisions." Drunk. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, being a head college football coach will take years off your life, especially
these years.
Yeah. So you don't get paid $6.5 million a year because it's stress free. You, me, Ike, we've all had successful jobs in the corporate arena. They don't hand 6-figure salaries out to people without a bunch of responsibility attached. So if you want to make that kind of coin, it's going to come with a ton of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And the special ones just know they put a process in place, and they come to work and they show up every day, and they exemplify the characteristics that they need their players to win consistently. That's what I think about. Like, if you've never heard Nick Saban like give a motivational speech, like non-football, he's pretty good at it. He understands something very fundamental to success in life. And Caesar, how many times have we heard from other people, I'm gonna start an Auburn podcast, and I'm gonna do what you guys are doing. And then a month later, we have heard nothing from them. In 5 years, I don't know if we've ever missed a Sunday show, like just not done a show. every week we show up, we do the job, we're there, we grow, we expand. Like, you know, the commitment and the consistency and the dedication it takes to grow something from scratch is the same dedication it takes if you're trying to be a football player and be successful. You got to show up, you have to do the little things that nobody else wants to do. But at the college level, nobody's making you do it. Even in high school now, these days, the football players that are getting ahead are the ones whose parents are driving them, doing all the extras. Somebody is behind them. But at some point, right, like when you stop wanting to do those little extra things, it'll show up in the results. And I'm not sure, based on what I've been told and what we're seeing, that Hugh Freeze is doing those little extra things Auburn needs to get them over the hump. I want to tell this story, right? Like, because I think it will make sense to some people. Last year versus Georgia, when we had the 4th and 2, the failed 4th and 2, what I was told by somebody who would know is that play call, that call wasn't on the call sheet earlier in the week. It was caught by the quarterback, Caesar, that call. Hey, what is this call? This wasn't on the call sheet earlier in the week. He was in a meeting with the offensive coordinator,
Knicks.
yep, and some other offensive staff. He asked his questions. And they said, those are great questions. Let us talk to coach and get back to you. Coach wasn't in that meeting. A meeting that, according to the quarterback, he should have been in. Nobody gets back to him. And then in the most critical moment in the game, the play is called. And there's confusion about what to do, because a question was asked earlier in the week and the head coach wasn't there to address it. So then we get to the post game. And they're crossing wires, essentially trying not to tell the story, but telling the story. Freeze comes back and says, I now understand what Peyton was seeing. And it was like that is so indicative of like a detail in preparation that when you don't get it right, it shows up. Now, I wonder how much of that is still happening. Now, as he said, this isn't a rumor. This happened. This absolutely happened.
I think Locked On had talked about something similar too.
I have not shared the story because it felt like enough was out there that you could see that Peyton and Freeze weren't on the same page. But you're adding, essentially meddling with the game plan. We heard whispers of Harsin doing this at times when he was here, making changes late in the week to stuff that wasn't on the call sheet earlier in the week when they start walkthroughs. And then Auburn is unable to execute the things that he's putting in after Wednesday. If you don't know what a week of college practice looks like, let me paint you a picture. A lot of times Sunday is rehab and recovery. And sometimes they will do some light walkthroughs where no pads are put on. They just put on shorts and jerseys and they stand out on the field and they'll walk through some things that maybe they watched in film. Every program does this a little different. Monday is usually a lighter day, but you do Skelly and you do some team things and you walk through and you're installing concepts based on the film. Tuesday and Wednesday are your full pad days. And then Thursday is another walkthrough day where you're not really doing any hitting. You don't want anybody to get hurt. and then you do your walkthroughs and you go back to rehab if you need to get your body physically ready for Saturday. Depending on where you're playing, sometimes you're traveling Thursday, but mostly, it's a Friday morning travel schedule. And then you play the game on Saturday. So once you get past Wednesday, because as I mentioned, that's your second full day in pads, putting something in that you haven't practiced the previous 2 or 3 days, you better have you definitely have to have the right trigger man at quarterback. He's got to understand all those concepts and get people in the right places. Your center and your quarterback have to really be guys that can process information quickly and on time. If you're putting things in after Wednesday that have to be executed, then he's got to have a lot of good communication and leadership skills to be able to direct people in the moment. If you don't have that and you're consistently doing that, it's not a shock to me that Auburn consistently is, ever since Georgia last year, I keep wondering whenever like last night, they hand the ball off to Jeremiah on a 3rd and 6 or something, a 3rd and long. And I'm like, wait, what? Ike hated the Singleton play before that, even worse. Whatever, like inside pitch.
Mike, that play didn't work at all. I can see if that play got you major yards early in the game when you went back to it, but it didn't work then. Like, why are you keep going back to that?
Right. So I'm wondering, in my head, I'm just thinking, is this stuff that they're practicing? And it's just not working, or did it work in practice? Because it seems to me, from the conversations that I had, that it is a regular thing that there's something on the call sheet that wasn't practiced earlier in the week and that they are unable to execute in critical moments. This is what I keep saying when I'm trying to say, like, look, there's something broken here in the way that they prepare for games that's showing up on game day, because it's not that they're not talented. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Joe Campbell says, ChatGPT login. You said you think they roll to Toomer's corner when Freeze is fired. Probably not. Probably not. Someone might, but who knows? Courtney Chandler says, I got married yesterday and Auburn gave me a loss as a gift. Courtney CNT Talking Tigers.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Congratulations on your nuptials, first and foremost. And hate it was a bittersweet day for you in that regard.
CNT Talking Tigers is their podcast. You guys go check them out.
Yeah. Thanks for chatting with us, man. Thanks for the comment. Appreciate you. And congrats again. Harold Greer says, Ike, I still think if Hugh Freeze is head coach, he still finds a way to lose to Kentucky. That's bad.
Kentucky just barely lost to Texas.
Kentucky is tough at home.
13. Yeah. I was
like they're when I say tough, I mean, like their defense. I mean, again, they have a defensive-minded coach. They can be salty defensively depending on the matchup. And Texas hasn't exactly been lighting it up offensively, so it was kind of a perfect storm of sorts for Texas.
Yeah, 16-13. But
which can be concerning for Auburn, even though that's in Jordan Hare. Yeah, I'm not saying there's a foregone conclusion Auburn beats Kentucky, but
listen to Texas's schedule, right? They opened up with number 3 Ohio State, the defending national champs. They lost that game 14-7, one-score game. They won their next 3 games versus San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston, as to be expected, to get back on the wagon. And then they lose at Florida, 29-21. So another one-score game. Then they turn around the next week and they beat Oklahoma 23-6. Then they squeak out versus Kentucky 16-13, right? This is more of the script that I thought Auburn's season would follow. Now, if you ask me, Auburn to date has played a much tougher schedule than Texas. Because I don't see
Agreed.
4 straight ranked matchups here.
Agreed.
But also you can't lose all of them. I mean, the Florida loss, that's a bad loss
Yeah.
for them. For where their
Yeah.
program is and where Florida is, that's a bad loss. However, you turn around the next week and you beat a very good Oklahoma team by multiple scores. So even though they have a disappointing loss on their schedule, their whole season is still in front of them. Every goal that Texas wants to achieve can't be achieved because they have Vanderbilt, Georgia, and Texas A&M left on their schedule. If they went out, they're in the playoffs.
They got everything in front of them, to your point. Yeah.
Auburn wasn't supposed to be out of the running at this point in mid-October. They weren't. They were supposed to have a chance to be relevant going into November. That's been taken away from us.
Yeah. Ben Bloodworth says Billy Napier did an objectively better job at Florida than Freeze has done here. How low is our bar?
I would agree with this statement.
He has. Last year alone. Just last year
You
alone.
got more
was
signature
amazing.
wins. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, last year Florida played
Winning record.
with the hardest schedule we've ever seen. We have never seen a schedule as hard as what Florida played last year. 11 Power 5 opponents. They played Miami, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, UCF, Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State. That was their schedule. Their one non-P4 opponent was Samford. Game 2. And he somehow mustered his way to 7-5 and got himself to the next year. It all came crashing down, but like, damn.
It's almost just like, man, as hard as you work to get yourself out of the hole you were in, you jumped right back in it this year.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
At the time that they switched from Mertz to Lagway, and I think Mertz got hurt, maybe.
He did.
Right. I don't know, man. Lagway played game 2 and racked up 456 yards passing in his second game against Samford. But like, so the flashes were there. But I mean, I don't know, man. They had to go to another quarterback. They did. And it gave them a spark, man, to finish.
And Lagway has looked questionable, especially early in the season. Like he didn't look like the same Lagway that garnered a lot of hype going into this year.
Yeah. Last year they finished their year with 4 straight wins. They beat number 22 LSU, number 9 Ole Miss. They beat Florida State, and then they beat Tulane in the bowl game. And I'm telling you, Freeze needs he needs a run of wins. Arkansas, I'm telling you, is not going to be a walk in the park.
You're basically asking for a 2017 type of year. Not necessarily where you're competing for an SEC title, but if you remember in 2017, Gussie got scorching hot. Like we forget because of the amazing run he went on in the back half of the season.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about there is to get the heat off of you. You're going to have to beat some people that you're not expected to beat at this point and really close out the season hot.
Yeah. You're right. Gus's seat was scorching. I mean, it was either fired or massive extension. Like, and he put off wins versus Georgia and Alabama,
convincing wins.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, so it was massive extension, but at least he gave them that ammo. And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, if you're John Cohen, you don't have any bullets in the gun in this Freeze conversation. If you're trying to stand up for him, he needed this win. It would have been a ranked win versus what really is a mediocre Missouri team. Let's be honest. Right? This team wasn't anything special.
They were so beatable. Again, this was your most beatable game, which is saying a lot because a lot of those other games were beatable, winnable as well.
Yeah.
Mr. Gibson says, literally watching Ike get angrier in real time. Ike is still hanging around. We're gonna get to the end of the supers. He may pop back on and say what he
Yeah.
needs to say. Well, I'm
Yep.
eager to hear it. Marquez Willis says, "Can we please get Jimbo Fisher? He is a quarterbacks coach, an offensive mind coach, and a good recruiter." No, and no. And somewhere, somehow, B. Will just got an ulcer.
Oh my God.
From me reading it.
Oh,
Yeah. No. I think, yeah, and we don't have to go into that, but no to Jimbo Fisher. Travis Latham says the play calling is lackadaisical at the moment, at the most important times, and it just kills all the built-up momentum. Hashtag War Damn Eagle. Appreciate you, man, being a member for 31 months, man. Thanks to you. Tim Toolmain Taylor says boosters done getting quote unquote their guys so we can win. I mean, yeah. I mean, Hugh Freeze was their guy. But again, I think these guys want to win as well. So again, even these guys, with all of the support they have, one of the things they talked about, Mike, when Hugh Freeze got here was the alignment. Right? Remember, you heard that word a lot between the AD, the head coach, and the supporters of the program. Right? It buys you a lot of goodwill when you need resources, which Hugh Freeze got. All that and then some. But at the end of the day, you mentioned it. I think he was talking to Dukes, Mike. You talked about ROI, return on investment. They have to see their investment comes in the form of wins. And Auburn's not getting those. So how much goodwill and alignment and being their guy does that do for you long term? Like eventually you're going to have to show and prove that you're the right guy for the job. Elliot P says we crucified John Michaels for saying we wished we were Georgia Tech. Wow.
We still don't wish we were Georgia Tech.
Still don't. But that hurts though. Ben Bloodworth says, I hate that we missed those field goals because, Freeze is internally using them as proof that nothing needs to change.
Freeze is
Perhaps.
using them as proof that nothing needs to change. Yeah. I mean, but the decision making does. Because you left the kid, you put him out there to miss those field goals.
Yeah.
Now, the first one, I won't hold you. The subsequent ones, I put it on Freeze. That first kick didn't look right, man, to me. It didn't. And I don't know that this didn't happen, but, I can't imagine that it is. Because did somebody go to Alex and be like, are you good? Because the first kick looked weak. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, they were falling short of the goalpost, Caesar.
Yeah. And we've never seen that. Obviously, he's getting his strength back, but yeah. NH 3425 says being real, Bobby Petrino has a used number. And I put it to you this way. They don't look like a team that just fired their coach. They still look very dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, offensively, I would agree.
Yeah.
They do. Yeah, this was the guy who coached Lamar Jackson to a Heisman Trophy. He's a dirtbag, but he's always been a very good offensive coordinator. Yeah. I mean, he's absolutely a dirtbag, but and I know that from working under him. When he was the offensive coordinator back in 2002. But I don't know. Like I said, we watch. I mean, I don't know, man. He could not beat Auburn in 2015 with Jeremy Johnson at quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but it's just this game. When Arkansas fired Sam Pittman, a lot of people thought, okay, they like Auburn's chances. And what a difference a few weeks makes, because Arkansas is still being competitive in games despite not having the head coach they began the season with. And that's worrisome for an Auburn team that doesn't want to get into a situation on the road where Auburn has to score in the critical moments to win the game.
Yeah.
Like that. And you need this game to even have a shot at being bowl eligible, right? Like if you're going to be bowl eligible, you can't lose this game. Because Vandy and Bama aren't, no one's expecting you to win those games either.
Yeah, I agree.
So you need this game. This is why this is a scary proposition for Auburn. 9-time champion says career road SEC wins over top 25 teams. Brian Harsin 1, Lane Kiffin 0. Keep that in mind when the media swears we should get Kiffin.
Georgia got their revenge on Ole Miss this weekend.
Yeah, they did.
I was happy to see that.
Lance Morgan says need to drop a bag on Kiffin. My point is he took not one but two not highly recruited QBs and make them look Heisman worthy. Kiffin with this offense is 7-0.
Yeah, I mean, I potentially can't argue that. I think there's a glass ceiling on Lane Kiffin, but yeah, I think he has Auburn relevant.
He's a better coach than who we have, for sure. Better offense, for sure. Definitely will give you that. I do have my reservations, like Mike G, about Kiffin. He's not the recruiter that Hugh Freeze is, especially out of high school. He does well with the portal. Yeah, and I just don't think I don't think you're getting him away from Ole Miss unless you're going to pay you're probably going to have to overpay for someone like Kiffin.
You need to get him recruiting support if you're going to make him the head coach, because the high school recruiting can't lag the way that it does at Ole Miss here. Because, like I said, if he's the coach here, we probably don't have Cam Coleman and Perry Thompson and I don't know.
Yeah.
Or if it is truly about money, then maybe we do. Either way, like I said, I don't know. It would, as a play caller, I think it would be awesome to see competent play calling, but also Caesar, he has fielded some pretty good defenses in his time as well too. So like you might be a more well-rounded. Your defense may not be as good as it is right now, but your offense will be much better and make up for a lot.
Yeah. Alan Berry says Florida and Penn State didn't wait to make a change, and Auburn can't afford to either.
Yeah, they seem to be. It's pulling the plug season, right? Everybody seems to be pulling the plug at this point. It's either so. Yeah.
Felix the Cat says, did anyone catch the young man who said that he was still hungry because he was in JUCO and this is better? This is better than that. That hurts me, but I'm so proud of these young people. I think do you know what he's talking about, Mike?
No, I don't.
I don't know if I caught that.
Maybe
Felix.
drop a link to what you're talking about, Felix. So
Yeah.
take a look.
Yeah. DM us or send us something so we'll know. Big Gap 78 says, could we just get a great OC and keep free? Never mind. Oh, Lance Morgan says Kiffin with this defense 7-0. Hugh can't make it 5-star plus look good.
Yeah, the more that I think about it, the more I think I'm in the camp of let's give DJ Dirk, if you decide to move on, let's give DJ Durkin a serious look and see if that same detail and attention that he gives to the defense
bleeds over to the offense.
Yeah, if he's the head coach, right? And then give him whatever support he needs to go out and find an offensive mind to come in and do this thing. Because I'm telling you, those guys on the offensive side notice how differently the defense is run over the offense. I've been hearing these stories since last year.
He was talking about Champ.
Okay.
He was talking about Champ Anthony. Ike just texted me. Ike's not going to jump. Ike's done. Ike's done. So we want to grab this super here. A 9-time champion says, if Auburn's QB was Ty Simpson, what's our record?
I don't know, because like I said, I don't think that
It's not 7-1 or 6-1.
Yeah, I don't think that
It's not 6-1.
yeah, I just think that, again, I think that the issue is coaching. So if you put Ty Simpson under Hugh Freeze, is Ty Simpson Ty Simpson?
Is Ty Simpson, again, finished product Ty Simpson probably does well, because you need a guy, because you got to remember Hugh Freeze, the success he's had with transfer QBs. He's never developed a kid out of high school and made him into who he was. Hugh Freeze needs a quarterback that he can plug into his system, that can run his system. Basically, they're talented and good independent of anything Hugh Freeze is doing or implementing. So if Ty Simpson is that guy, then Auburn can do well. If Ty Simpson needs some development, which clearly he did, because he got better as the season went on this year for Bama, I don't think he's the same Ty Simpson.
Right.
Just don't think so. Big Homie Lander says Brandon Cox tweeted for the first time since April last night.
What did Brandon say?
Yeah, now I'm curious. I'm curious. I'm curious of what he said there. Let's see here. Exclusive TV says that former player that Mike talks to, statements about Hugh is starting to look so understandable.
Look, many former players talk to me. It's tough, man. It's really tough. They're watching this, and I saw Chandler Wooten tweeted something last night about Keldrick Falk needing to hit the league immediately. And it's tough, man. Players are starting to speak up because they recognize that this team is extremely talented. Yeah. High praise coming from some of these guys who were very, very good players at the college level. But it's not just one former player, man. I'm telling you, it's 15. And we just I hear what they have to say.
You just look at these guys. I mean, some of these guys are tweeting their thoughts. You can find out what a lot of former players think about the product they're seeing on the field right now for Auburn. You don't have to wonder. So Felix the Cat comes back and says it was Champ who said that, I think. So he was in better situation when he was in JUCO, and that's unfortunate.
Oh, okay. So what Brandon Cox tweeted was that emoji.
Oh, gotcha.
That's what he tweeted. That's all he tweeted. The vomit, holding back vomit. Yikes. Emoticon. Yeah. Yikes. It did numbers too. It did 500,000 impressions.
Yikes. Thoughts, man, before we get out of here, Mike?
Look, this almost 800 of you here have joined us today live. Yeah. And I think that speaks volumes to how frustrated a lot of people are at the product on the field. I tweeted this last night. I said multiple times, the atmosphere was electric last night, Caesar. When Missouri missed that field goal in overtime that would have ended the game, I have to tell you that credit the student section with that miss. It was loud, and it was hostile, and it was everything you wanted a college football game to be. And the players were thriving on it. But the coaches are not delivering their end. The third down call, I tweeted this as well, quite possibly the worst third down call in the history of college football, right? It was bad. The third down call was bad. You're handing the ball. At this point in the game, I just don't know how the game is not in the hands of the 5-star quarterback that you recruited. I expected to see a ball thrown up to Perry or Cam. Just let them go make a play for you at this point, right? Inside the 20, here's where I mean, again, it just seems like they overthink it sometimes. And every time Auburn tries to get cute, it sucks. Preston Howard blew a wide open pass. I gotta go back and look at the numbers for Jackson Arnold last night. But
18-30. 207 yards and an interception.
Right. But
Some of
Caesar,
the PFF grades.
well, not just the grades, but like the adjusted completion percentage, because he was, I mean, there were clearly drops last night. There were more than a few.
Like 3
So
or
when you
4.
look at the numbers here, let's see. No way. I'm tripping. I was hold on, wait, I'm tripping. I was looking at. I have to look at this real quick because I have to know before we get out of here. It's when you look at his adjusted completion percentage. Let me see if I can find it by game here. Okay, here we go. Missouri. They posted it. Sometimes they're a little slow with it. His adjusted completion percentage last night was 85.2%. He finished the game 60% passing. His adjusted was 85.2%. PFF credited 5 drops last night. This is why I'm like, I don't know, man. And it's not that, again, one of them was Preston Howard on a play that would have been a first down. Tight end play has not been good. The ones with Cam, you just kind of eat those because he's so talented, right? And it's not normal for him. But like, I just have to believe that this is more symptomatic of, like, again, how they're being prepared for these games. The leadership that they're receiving. I can't sit here and believe that it is top notch if, these guys get to Auburn and then they start doing things that we've never really seen them do. I went to Cam Coleman's high school games. He's from the crib. His dad and I went to high school together. When I tell you, he could not miss a catch. The body control, man, the strength, the speed, the hops, all there. Now he gets to Auburn, and in the second year, when there's chaos around him, he's doing things that he doesn't normally do. I just don't. I mean, if you're John Cohen, you got to be able to sit down and dig deep here and see and find the root of what's going on with this football team, and then you got to use that information to make a decision about whether this coach is truly called by God to lead Auburn through the land of adversity. I keep going back to that. And I hope that people hear what I'm saying and understand what I'm trying to say. Something is broken in the culture offensively, so much so that your team captain stopped believing. In talking with Damari about his decision to redshirt, I told him, I won't share, the nature of our conversation, but like I will just tell you, I said, look, Damari, you got to understand, there are people who are going to characterize what you're doing as quitting, no matter what. And he said, I understand that. But you got to understand that that kid knows more about what's going on inside that building than we know. So two things can be true at once. I believe he could have gone about this differently and protected his career a little better. But also, I don't think he's wrong to say, why should I burn a whole year of eligibility? There are some people who feel like, well, he's just mad because Jeremiah is better than him. Okay, let's say that's true. He can't afford to believe that. You have to believe you're the best. If you want to make it to the next level, you have to believe that you're better than the guys that they say are better than you. How many guys were buried on the bench behind other players? How many Heismans were buried on the bench behind other players on other teams until they got to another school where they were the guy and blew up? In the right system, at the right time, with the right coaches. I feel for these kids, man. They chose Auburn, man, and it's Auburn, as from a family standpoint, has given everything back that they can. They've given NIL, they've given support, they've given an incredible game day environment. But the coaches have to do the rest. I get it. Someone's going to hit the comments and be like, well, if you guys know so much, why don't you go coach it? And blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we're going to hear all that. Come on, man. Don't do that to yourself. You know that the product on the field is unacceptable. What I do know is that when there is excellence in everything you do in your preparation, the results are clear. They did get unlucky, man. Like, look, Oklahoma was stolen from them. That's the one game where I will honestly say I thought the offense played well enough, even with some things left on the table, that if the refs don't mess it up, that Auburn probably wins the game. But how they responded to that, they've lost every game since. 0-4 to open SEC play, man. Go read social media, Caesar. Like there was no faith the entire game in any of my replies that Auburn was going to win that football game.
Yeah.
People were already like, while Auburn had the lead, people were talking like Hugh Freeze was done. I don't know how at this point in the season, starting 0-4 SEC play, you gain back the trust of the fan base.
Yeah.
You know, Hugh Freeze,
you're not going to do it. If heaven allows it, right? Because you're called by God. But if you were able to win out, you would still need an additional year to earn, and in some fans' minds even longer, because again, it took you 2.5 years to get to this point to where fans have completely lost a lot of faith in you. People who wanted to believe in you.
Yeah, to your point, like, okay, there was something that I wanted to do to go back and just, again, I believe that these parallels are necessary, Caesar, when we talk about what does patience for a head coach mean in today's college football, right? When Tuberville got hired in 1999, I believe, was Tuberville's first year coaching Auburn.
That's correct.
Right? They went 5-6, right? They went 5-6. The next year, 2000, remember, they went to the SEC championship game. I think this was your freshman year, right, at Auburn? 2000. 9-4. And they made the SEC championship game. They lost to Florida, I believe, in Atlanta that year. 2001, which was my freshman year, 7-5. Disappointing season. This was the last year that they lost to Alabama before that 6-game winning streak. The subsequent years, right? You went in 2002, you went 9-4, and you beat Penn State in the Capital One Bowl. In 2003, you went 8-5, and you won the Music City Bowl. And then 2004 happened. So you were like 2004 was year 6 of the Tuberville era. Year 6 before he had his breakthrough season. It didn't feel like that, but I was like, man, he was there for 5 years prior to 2004. But you got 2 9-win seasons mixed in there. So there was something to hold on to.
Right.
there was something.
There was improvement.
Correct. It was a little up and down at times, and they had to find, they had the players, they had to find the coaching staff. There was a back and forth between Daniel Cobb and Jason Campbell, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Cobb definitely wasn't it. Jason Campbell, Gatorade High School Player of the Year, one of the best quarterbacks to ever come through Auburn, finally had his breakthrough year in 2004. Now, let's talk about Gus. He takes over an Auburn team that coming off a 3-9 season where they went one as an offer in the SEC. The only games Auburn won in 2012 were the non-conference cream puffs.
Right.
But he starts off 12-2 with a national title game. And then he goes 8-5 after that. 7-6. We're trending down.
Thought he went 9. He didn't go 9-4 the following year.
8-5. And the Outback Bowl in 2014. 7-6 the year after that. 8-5 in 2016. And then right when they were like, I don't know if he's it. Right. And at this point, remember, he's turned in in season 5, which was 2017, he's turned in 2 8-win seasons and a 12-win season and a national title appearance. So in his year 5 or 6, 5, 10-4. But he beat Georgia and Alabama. Now, remember, in 2003, Tuberville pulled off the win versus Alabama as well. So these guys were beating their rivals.
Yeah.
They were beating them. They had wins versus their rivals.
Yeah.
Gus lasted 3 years after that and got fired on the COVID-shortened season in 2020. And at that point, remember, after 10-4, he went 8-5, 9-4, and then finally 6-4 and got fired. By the numbers, you had something to hold on to. All we were asking for Q to do in year 3 was channel your inner 8-4 or 9-4. Now, technically, 9-4 is still on the table with the bowl if they make a bowl game and they win out. But it seems really unlikely because you haven't beat anybody with a pulse.
Yeah.
So how much longer does Auburn have to go before they get at least signs of life? Because as I mentioned, even though Tubbs didn't have his breakthrough year until year 6, he gave you an SEC championship appearance. He gave you bowl wins. He gave you 8-win seasons, 9-win seasons, multiple 9-win seasons in the lead up to 13-0. With multiple signature wins, man. Your sophomore year, my freshman year, Auburn taking down Steve Spurrier's #1 Florida at home.
Yeah. Crazy game.
Where are those moments for Auburn? 3 years in, man, and we don't have one. And don't give me Texas A&M last year. Gus did it year 1. Even Harsin went into Baton Rouge and got a win in a place that nobody had, his predecessors couldn't even do that.
Right.
I went on 3-man front and people lost their minds on me when I said that Hugh Freeze's first year was not even better than Harsin's first year.
The numbers, you're not wrong.
And it wasn't.
Yeah.
Outside of recruiting, what has he done better than Brian Harsin?
And at the time, no, I mean, again, statistically, you were not wrong, but I don't think people had placed Hugh Freeze in the same category as Brian Harsin because of Hugh Freeze's reputation at the time. He was still riding high on what he has done at Ole Miss and what he's done at Liberty up to this point. So to say that a coach who really and truly was in over his head and was a poor fit for Auburn had a similar comparative year that Hugh Freeze did in year one, triggered people who thought that Hugh Freeze was the better coach.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But what I was pointing out, and rightfully so,
Numbers don't lie.
There were signs of mismanagement in year one.
Yeah.
When people were blaming the talent. I said, no. Some of this is not about talent. But wait till
there was some talented kids still left over. Like,
yeah, there were tons. You inherited Jarquez Hunter.
He's not talented?
Right. I'm telling you, man, there were signs of this in year one.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll start listening to me when I say it again. I hope I don't have to say it again. But there were message board threads essentially with voted to ship me off to Guantanamo Bay for pointing out that Hugh Freeze outside of recruiting wasn't doing any better. And I wasn't really giving him the recruiting thing because they withheld financial support from Brian Harsin. Yeah. That they freely gave to Hugh. These are your players. You picked them. You brought in the quarterback. He has underperformed every resource that has been afforded to him to this point. And in spite of all that, I wasn't rooting against him. I wanted to see him succeed.
Yeah.
So I need people to understand that this thing is not, this thing is just not going to get fixed magically one day where they start winning football games. Something has to change in the way that they arrived here.
And
it don't matter how good the players are, right? Unless the guy at the helm is Cam Newton, where you can just call any play and Cam is just going to do Cam things. Good luck. Those players are rare. But when you don't have them, you see what happens to the system. We saw it under Gus. We saw it under previous coaches.
Yeah.
All right, we've been on a really long time. There's some more supers that popped up here, Caesar. I think we need to
I'm gonna grab those. And Ike, by the way, for Green Name Gang, check out Office Hours. He has reserved to do his rant there. So guys, check out Office Hours with Ike. He'll give you his thoughts about what he would have said today.
Yes, sign up as a patron because I think those are patron only.
Yeah, Green Name Gang. I said Green Name Gang. MJ, $10 says Mike hit it on the head. It comes down to the process and preparation led by the head coach. The weekly preparation and speaking to the 4 and 2 last year is spot on, which is likely the same this year. Yeah. I agree. Thanks for that, MJ. Harold Greer, appreciate you, man. Says, I feel for you guys covering this train wreck and the players living it. I always listen to you guys. See you next week. Thanks, Harold, for the super chat. Listen, man, we're here, win or lose, man. We've been through a lot, and we're still going to be here, buddy. So, check in with us. Continue to check in with us. But thanks again. Cleveland Brown says Hugh needs to be a next man up coach. You recruit top talent to come here. Let's get them a shot to do better, do anything but the same darn thing.
Yeah. You got to do something different. Something's got to change, right? And so I fear that if he is not willing to make changes both to his staff and his process, that he's going to be the thing that has
change will be made for him.
Yeah, he's going to have to be the thing that's going to have to be changed. So, I'm going to try to see if I can talk to John Cohen today and get some idea of where his head's at. I may or may not be able to share immediately what he tells me, but, he's usually pretty open with me in the conversations that we have about, the state of Auburn sports. Most of those conversations are positive conversations. But I really just want to know where his head's at here. I do.
Obviously, he's in a different space than he was weeks ago, Mike.
Yeah.
He's
I
got to
agree.
be.
He's
He's
got
got
to
to be. Like I don't. If you take pride in the work that you do, you can't be in the same headspace that you was. I can't believe that. Go ahead, take us out of here, Mike.
Oh man, you guys already know the deal. We appreciate our title sponsor, Golden's Cast Iron. Hit the codes on the screens at the address on the screen to get your discounts on your Golden's cast iron products. We appreciate them for sponsoring this segment. Also want to thank our friends at the Vibe Vault. You can find them at 3462 Crosswinds Road, Suite E in Phoenix City, Alabama. If you're looking to get fresh for the weekend, visit the Vibe Vault right there on Highway 431 across the street from Chattahoochee Valley Community College, next to the Renfro Supermarket and the Marco's Pizza. The Vibe Vault, get fresh for the weekend with them, not just barbers, lifestyle consultants. I want to thank our friends at AIMA Associates. Get your financial future in order today with Abel's Iannone Moore and Associates. They are a registered investment advisor and a fiduciary. That means that they are bound by law to do what's in their client's best interest. AIMA Associates helping you get your finances together today. I want to thank our friends at the Rogue Shop. Visit rogueshop.com. Use code REPORT to get 15% off your Rogue Shop order. Pain, sleep, stress, anxiety, whatever ails you in life, the Rogue Shop has something that has you covered. Join as a patron. Again, office hours. Ike Jones will be there talking to you guys. Green Name Gang only, though. So if you want to hear his thoughts on this more, it might be a little cathartic for you guys to get in there office hours and talk it out. I think he actually takes phone calls on office hours as well, too.
I think he does.
Yeah, there's a line where you guys can call in and talk. So lots of fun going over there on office hours. Again, patron only. We appreciate him for doing that work. Check us out on podcasts, all the podcast platforms with your audio only content. Today's show and every show will be posted up on audio for you guys to consume. We appreciate you guys for supporting us there as well.
And before you get out here, guys, please be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, share this video, catch us on social media at the War Rapport on X and Instagram. You can even find us on TikTok at TW Rapport. And as usual, we're here throughout the week. Check out Mike G as he does the morning shows, the morning content. Definitely keep supporting, guys. Also, Ike is doing basketball content as well. Basketball season is here, so continue to be locked in with us, guys, as we continue to bring you content from our sports at Auburn University. That's it for now, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. As always, where you go.